Alright guys, we have a lot to be discussing in regards to the big macro picture. Since Bitcoin is continuing to essentially consolidate, we're going to be looking at the bigger macro picture for the traditional markets, comparing that with Bitcoin, and really talking about which position you should be most into, by the end of next year, whether it's gold, traditional markets, or Bitcoin overall. So we're going to be covering all that. Stick around till the end of the video. You don't really want to miss this information. If you enjoy this content, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. We're almost at 6,000 subscribers, guys. So let's go ahead and get into the S&P 500, guys. So the S&P 500 has been in a downtrend, coming in all the way from the highs of July 2023. The pressure of the sellers were being felt in with this downtrend of move, putting in these lower lows and lower highs on a consistent basis here. Considering that we are below the 55 and 21 EMA, and the buyers are trying to test these levels and really failing to show anything in terms of strength. So there's a lot of weakness being shown by the buyers here. In the previous video, we did note that if the 4200 level was to be taken out or broken here, then the likely scenarios we're going to at some point test the 4K psychological level for the S&P 500, which is the midpoint of this uptrend that we started all the way back from 2022. Also, we would be coming to the 50% on the fib level, which is a key area as well too, to watch for this particular area. With stocks being at low levels, this does give it a possibility for a chance for if we look at the stochastic here, to put in a higher low, and on price to cement maybe a lower low, as you can see here, which can bring in the next lower high rally that we're looking for. Whether we get rejected from there, I think we would need to reassess it and look at it from that standpoint at that time. Keep in mind, it has lost about $4 trillion in market cap, guys. So the S&P 500, from the tops we've seen back from July of 2023, has essentially lost about $4 trillion in market cap. These are huge amount of losses, guys. Keep in mind, guys, like this is, you're losing about 10 to 11% on an index, right? When you talk about, the stock market or any particular indexes, losing a huge amount of money like this can have a big impact in terms of the economy. With that being said, usually in Bitcoin, these 10 to 15% usually are seen constantly, right, through these bull and bear cycles. However, in the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, in this situation, it is more different and can have a more of an impact in terms of the economy overall. We're starting to see the same thing again happening with the NASDAQ. Same trend with the NASDAQ really breaking key support around 14,500, which has held nicely, twice for a couple rallies. The old saying goes, guys, the more you test that area, the more likely you will actually break it here. Now, it's not all, gloom and doom here for the NASDAQ. We do see the daily 200 EMA coming in, more likely for support around 13,950. Now, keep in mind, you are breaking below the 14,000 key area. Same thing is happening with the oscillator here. We can see a higher low is being put in while lower low is setting in on price. However, the next bounce will lead us into more likely to that support area, which was being held for quite some time for these two rallies, and now it's going to be acting as resistance. So keep that in mind, and that's more likely where that next lower high might come in here. I do believe the next lower high comes in because of the news that the Fed won't be raising rates, which will give traditional markets a chance to maybe rally and get above some key areas of resistance, and then we can more likely reassess it thereafter. I do want to say that most of the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq do start to kind of move in favor is when the earnings report come out. And a large fact to this is that, with the S&P 500, or particular with the Nasdaq, it is more heavily weighted toward tech stocks, which have a very heavy weight in terms of this index. And when these tech stocks essentially don't do so well, like Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon, then and they start to essentially shed a large market cap, then this is not going to look good for the Nasdaq overall. However, what we've seen on the other hand with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin and gold are essentially rallying while traditional markets are continuing to fall. And we've seen essentially Bitcoin, while from the top of the actual Nasdaq, we've seen Bitcoin essentially rally, or I wouldn't say rally. Bitcoin did actually dump as well too, roughly about 21%. But I would say from the actual dump where that occurred, Bitcoin actually started rallying roughly about, I would say, 40% to the upside, guys. While the Nasdaq was basically losing roughly about 10%. So, which side do you want to take here in regards to this? So there are two sides of the story being told. And one of the sides is that traditional markets essentially are continuing to fall, while Bitcoin and gold are essentially continuing to rise up. And this is, I think, going to be the story going forward into 2024. However, could this be a catalyst while stocks are going down, that Bitcoin more likely is going to come back and retrace to $32,000 key levels? So again, with gold, really breaking this downtrending move for quite some time, coming in all the way back from May of 2023. So breaking away from this downtrend, guys, has been very key for gold to really, start to put an uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. We do see that there is a bit of a, weakness being shown, because we do see that, again, there is a bit of resistance coming in from July all the way from May of 2023. If we go back further, you're more likely talking about targets back from 2020. But so far, if gold really starts to rally above, $2,000 and really closes above that key psychological level, watch out, guys. This is going to be an important factor. And the economy is not in good shape, specifically when gold, and now that we see Bitcoin really continue on in upwards from here. Anyways, I'll leave it off with this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Until next time, bros, as always, stay profitable.